What is jazz?
I would say jazz to me is a form of expression, free expression. Having the freedom to improvise with the melody or the chords or the rhythm or riff to explore within a given structure.
Jazz for me is being able to improvise and express myself freely using the knowledge and the language that I've learned from previous jazz musicians and the history of the jazz culture, but then communicating it in my own way, a way that's unique to myself, a way that I can express myself today, you know, living in this day and age, opposed to trying to play like the people from the past.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that one. And to me, I think jazz is quite a very broad term. We all know the typical context of jazz, the traditional side, but I guess within each period it changes and it molds to suit that kind of time and the people in the time and the social issues that they're dealing with within the world.
I would also say that my experience of playing jazz has always been within groups or communities. So I would say that jazz for me is very much community-driven music.
Yeah, you always find a scene in wherever jazz is found. You see those people playing at jams or in clubs or in bars and stuff like that. I agree, it's definitely community-based.
Yeah, jazz musicians never sound good by themselves. It's always about the ensemble, not about the individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Would you guys say that jazz has a specific sound?
I would say there are characteristics that one can identify with jazz. And then I would say maybe initially certain instrumentation. Now, as jazz has progressed, it's kind of broader, but I think initially you would associate things like the clarinet, trumpet, trombone, drum set, piano or guitar or banjo with jazz, whereas now you have instruments such as the bass clarinet associated with jazz, you have instruments such as the harp, you have instruments such as the
Rhodes piano.
The Rhodes.
Synthesizers. Yeah, so, you know, the styles and the sound of jazz has progressed over the years, as you're saying, but the core of the improvisation and the core of the freedom of expression has always still remained the same throughout the genres, I think.
Yeah, I definitely agree that improvisation is just always a core feature within jazz music throughout all of the times, you know. Without improvisation and soloing, jazz wouldn't be what it is and wouldn't have its name.
I agree, and I would say that without improvisation, or rather, the improvisation deals with the unknown, and that's kind of what excites jazz. That's what excites me about jazz, is the element of the unknown. You never know what's going to happen, but you have trust.
But then people say in the solos, there is no wrong or right notes. How do you feel about that? Some people say that. Some people would argue that there definitely are some wrong and right notes.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it depends on context. You could have jazz which is within a specific structure, like a blues or a rhythm change, or you could have something that's a bit more open.
Yeah.
And I suppose then you can make the argument that there are no right or wrong notes, as long as you're expressing yourself.
Just like Monk,
yeah,
Ornette Coleman, you know, some people would question the kind of notes and choices that they would make in their approach to the music. But they still had the boxes and the constraints of changes and stuff.
But even what about free jazz where they're, you know, you're improvising the changes, you're improvising the rhythm as you go along. So there are no set changes. So I guess in terms of context, what you're talking about before, I agree in the sense that, you know, there are no right or wrong notes, but your intention behind what you're playing has to be clear.
I think intention is a great key word.
Intention, wow, yep.
For
definitely.
sure. Without intention within jazz, it's nothing, isn't it? Carrying a story, a narrative, or a feeling or a mood or something, at least.
Yeah, telling a story with your solo. Yeah.